Welcome to another 10-minute review. Today we have a piece by Shawn where a character is doing acrobatic jumps and it needs a little bit of a nudge in order to actually kind of like be slightly better. I think Shawn has done a really good job, but the piece can definitely use a little bit of feedback to actually make it slightly better. So we're going to do that today. So let's get started. Alright, welcome to another 10-minute review. For those that are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Harvey Newman. I like to share my passion for animation here in this channel. And definitely if you enjoy this content after watching it, if you find it useful, if it was useful to you in any ways, consider liking, subscribing, and pressing the bell button so you can see more of this every single week. Okay, so we are going to look at Shawn's piece. I'm going to add 10 minutes on the clock. I have my trusty phone here. And then we're going to start reviewing. Let's do this. All right. So as you can see, like this piece is actually quite interesting, quite cool. I think Shawn has done a really good job at putting it together. I'm gonna move myself over here because I think it will be a better place for me to be. But yeah, it's actually really nice. So the positives of it all, Shawn, I think that, or maybe here in the middle. Is that better? Yeah, that way, I'm out of the way. Okay, cool. So first things first, Shawn. The things that I like about this, I like how dynamic the piece is. It's really nice. I like how you're actually really working on your poses as you go through. I can tell that you are not like skimping on anything. Your fingers are looking solid as you go through your poses. I like how you're actually making sure that the character is very visible and the poses work as best as they possibly can in every single time that he changes or she changes poses. And then your hands are solid once again. And I think your motion and your arcs of your motion are for the most part okay, and they are working, and it doesn't distract from the regular motion or the general motion of the animation. So you should pat yourself on the back because it looks cool. I think you did a good job. Now, I think there's a few things that I should address first so you can actually make this better. The very first thing that you should address on a bigger scale is how the animation kind of like, as I keep saying every single time, has a beginning, middle, and end. At the moment, nothing is happening for a bit, which is good, and then you actually add the character here straight away, doing like his jumps, which is awesome. I think, and this is just a suggestion, it may or may not work, but you might actually want to add on that space here that nothing is happening. Maybe the character kind of like looking a little bit to see if he has enough space, like just checking the space and putting his head back, because that will give the audience or the viewer, in my case, context to what's about to happen, right? So you saw a character come in, I don't know, the 10 frames maybe on top of that, but the character come in, you saw a little head, so now you're wondering what's going on, and then you see this, right? You see the whole movement. So it gives you basically a better beginning to your animation. And then on also the ending, I think it finishes too abruptly at this point, and as an audience we're always wondering like, what is the point of this movement, right? It's just human nature. If you're actually doing some movement, you are thinking, what is the point of this movement? So if this is basically, I don't know, the Olympics, right? You'll be like, okay, so the point of this is actually a gold medal. So you're trying to make your jumps and your triple jumps as best as you possibly can without making a mistake in order for you to rank the highest. But we're always looking for the motivation of the character as the character is making things, is making some movement. And in here, because he actually has done so much work here and then he tries to kind of like fall and he falls flat in his face, I feel like after going through all this, it kind of looks slightly odd. So I think what you're missing here, right, is perhaps like instead of just falling straight up on his face, like right here, boom, maybe he's trying to get his feet under him, right, so he can get because here, like, you can tell that he's not even trying to go straight. He just goes straight onto his face and then falls. So maybe a good idea might be that he's almost hitting that, or hitting that landing, I should say, hitting that landing, and then he basically angles slightly too much, and this is what makes him fall on his face. Because yeah, it feels almost like he's doing it on purpose, falling on his face the way it is right now, and it doesn't really look appealing enough, I think. So it should be much more like a stumble as you're doing it. I think that will probably look much better. And then when it comes to the ending, instead of just leaving him like just like there dead, but this also feels slightly unsatisfying for me as an audience, I think that maybe having his hand trying to kind of like come up a little bit and then fall down if he's really dead, and if he's not dead, maybe like raising up his head a little bit, looking around to see if anyone is watching, and putting the head down, or trying to come up a little bit, right, and then be like and then fall down, just to give like a little bit more of an ending, so it doesn't really look like he just falls down and then ends. It feels too abrupt right now as it is. Now when it comes to the animation, the specifics of the animation, I think you're doing like quite a lot of things well, but there's a few things that you can do better. So these legs here that you have, like, that are so cool, like right here with the springy things, I think you can actually get them to pop much more as the movement is happening. In animation, this sense of like closed and open, it's really powerful for us animators to be able to kind of like get a pop or getting a feel for how things are. So if you can actually get her close and then pop and then close again, that actually helps you a ton to sell this movement. So you might have reference of this. I'm guessing it was probably from YouTube, or I'm not too sure. Maybe you can do this. Maybe it was you. But if it wasn't you, then look at the reference. And normally as humans, because we can only do so much, we have a tendency to just like do the very minimum that we can in order to actually get the movement nailed, right? But in animation, you can do much more by actually kind of like squeezing things more and pushing things more, right? That squash and stretch feel that you don't really have to squash and stretch really, but you can still like have that closed character and then open character, and that gives you the same feeling, satisfying feeling of a squash and stretch. Now watch out for your poses as you are doing it. As you are doing them, make sure that there's always a silhouette to your motion. So as long as you can, for example here, you have a very like great silhouette. You can see both legs right here. You have this arm, but this arm is actually gone, right? So you need to find an arc that allows you to see that arm more as you're making the movement. So this can be by the arm being over here or over here, something like that, right? So you can see that arm. Same thing here when you go into this pose. Right now the legs are crossing. Try to open them up a little bit. Even if you want this pose here of like having a bent knee, then try to get that knee to go over here and then bend over here, so you have almost like a hole in between. That allows you to once again have a better pose. This hand is kind of disappearing, so try to get that arm to be a little bit more like this, so you can see the little fingers right there, right? This pose is fine, but this arm is actually kind of like getting hidden within the body, and that's fine if you really want it, but you might want to kind of like at least get a little bit of a hole here, right, by getting the arm to be more like this. Same thing here, I think you're missing a trick by not showcasing this arm more, and the hand as well right here, as you're going here. And then same thing here, that sense of like making sure that things are as pushed as possible. This is a perfect example that you can actually get these legs to be more this way, so you have a better pose. Same thing with this arm, you can get it to actually be here, and this arm here, like because the sword is over here, like you actually get an intersection with this arm, so you might want to actually get either the sword to have a different angle or this arm to be more like this, right? So you can see what I mean, like there's lots of that. Same thing here, like the arm, this other arm disappears, and then on this specific one, I think is the worst one, like I feel like the arm is broken. I feel like it's impossible for you to do that as a human, to have the body like this and have the arm like this. So this upper body here needs to rotate this way in order to be able to accommodate having the arm shown. So you have the right idea. You're showing all the limbs, which is nice. It's exactly what I was trying to showcase on the other ones. But this upper body here is actually too straight to camera. So try to kind of rotate it more, so then you can actually have this arm doing this here, because it's very much, it hurts my body doing that. Like here, like especially because you're trying to hunch or get a slightly hunch pose, this spine is slightly too straight. Try to create, instead of having this thing here, try to create more of a C shape, right? Back to that idea that C shapes are very strong. Having that C shape here will help you with your animation. Same thing here, you want to get that C shape a little bit more. You can help your C shapes with your arms, right? So instead of having this arm here super straight, you might want to get it more like this. And that's our time. Anyways, I think you understand, hopefully, Shawn, the gist of where I'm going with this posing, right? Because I think your main problem is posing. There is also some arcs when it comes to the movement overall, but unfortunately we're not at time. But definitely keep going with this piece, because I think it's going to be really nice. Those big beats of beginning and ends, you really need to actually get that in so you can tell a little bit of a story. At the moment, it just reads as movement. So I hope that helped a little bit. Now, for everybody else that would like to actually have reviews like this, for everybody else that would like to actually get their animations to a better standard, a better level, faster, with the help of a professional, then definitely check out my animation mentorship, where I do this, but I do this at a much longer times. I have an hour, I have also a week or a month mentorship, and then we can go through one-on-one, and I can help you through your showreel or piece or anything that you're getting stuck, or if you're just getting started, we can actually make sure that you get started in the best way possible. Now, that is all I had for today. Shout out to my Patreons for supporting me every month, and also go over to Discord if you actually would like for me, or like a chance for me to review animations here in this channel, because I normally go through my animation Discord and check out the animation feedback channel, and then go through the animations and then find out what I want to review. I pick at random one animation that I like, that I think I have something to say about, and then I'll bring it here to the channel. Also, we just passed the 800 member mark, which is an amazing achievement. So we're having lots of fun. If you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, what are you waiting for? Go over, join us, and have some fun. Okay guys, that's all I had. Until next week, stay well, stay safe. Peace.